Hey, listener, it's CJ. Unfortunately, we were unable to record an episode this week. Life seems to be getting in the way, so I figured we would go into our Patreon vault and release an episode that was behind a precious, precious paywall, but now we're giving it to you, the people, for free. We are releasing the 2018 review of Instant Family. This is a movie that I think I'm going to have to put back on a watch list because listening to this episode, I have different feelings about it then in 2018 than I do now in 2022. And for some reason, I have a harder reaction than when I left the theater and I saw it. This was an episode that the Patreon supporters actually voted on and told us, hey, you should go see this. So, what I want to hear from you, the listener, is what do you think about this movie? Check out this review, see if it's worth your time, and more importantly, sound off online or text us at 484-373-4119 and tell us what you think about Instant Family. Were we right? Were we wrong? We want to know because it's been a few years and maybe this is something we should revisit. So, without further ado, I give you the review of Instant Family.
Welcome to the club, 'cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, patrons, to your exclusive spoiler cast of the movie Instant Family. You voted for it. We saw it. Let's get this going. Before we get too into this, I do want to know Josh is sick today. He did see the movie, but he will not be with us to review the movie. So you're going to be dealing with just Brian and I, but I promise you it's going to be a heck of a discussion. Brian, tell me about Instant Family.
Instant Family stars Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne as a couple who as their job. They flip houses. They, take the old crummy fixer-uppers, like that show Fixer Upper, in fact, which they reference in the movie.
Yes, they do.
And they, flip them and sell them. They decide one day to, start a family instead of going the, traditional route. They decide that they're going to foster and, maybe eventually adopt 3 kids, a teenager who's about 15, as well as her 2 younger siblings who are in like the 5 to 8 range as far as age goes.
Like 11
and
12,
hilarity
dude.
Ensues. And that's the premise of Instant Family.
By the way, I think their son Juan is like maybe
Juan?
12 or 13. I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
You really don't get kids' ages, do you? Like
No,
you just look at a kid and be like, I don't know what age you are. You're just I don't know if it's 7. Is that right? I'm 26.
I guess, and you know what? I'm excited. I'm right sometimes I'm not.
I didn't want to see this movie, and I'll tell you this. I remember what I said to Josh when we spoke about it. I firmly believed that was it Rose Byrne? Is that her name?
Rose Byrne, yes.
I believe that Rose Byrne, who plays Ellie in the movie, wasn't going to play it right. She thinks she's in a different movie. Mark Wahlberg thinks he's in a different movie, and they're just totally off with each other. I was wrong about that assumption. That they just didn't know what movie they were in. Like she didn't know, and she would be like the straight man, and Mark Wahlberg would just be goofy, silly, and that would clash. Rose Byrne was hilarious, and they had good moments.
Okay.
What I was right about was this movie doesn't know what movie it is. This movie.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I think this movie knows exactly what movie
this movie
it is.
cannot figure out its tone. It can't figure it out at all. It can't.
Did we see the same movie?
It can't.
You are completely off base.
I did not enjoy this.
Just because you didn't like it doesn't mean you have to find a stupid reason to not like it.
Are you ready? This is going to sound mean, and I will explain this. I promise. Had I not had to see this movie for Patreon, number one, I wouldn't have seen it, and number two, if I did, I would have left halfway through the movie. I would have left this movie. And I sat through Skyscraper and The Meg and Peppermint. I would have left this movie. So, Brian,
this movie
you
knows
feel
exactly what kind of movie
the
it
complete
is.
opposite of me. And
I actually enjoyed this movie.
And we'll get into it. Tell me what you liked about this movie. Give me the high level of feeling.
Because I think this movie does know exactly what kind of movie it is. I think it understands that it's supposed to be this, maybe not like perfect comedy, but this not even a family comedy. It paints a picture of, being a foster family and a foster parent and just how difficult that can be and how, crazy things can get and upside down your lives can get and things like that. Like, this movie knows what it's going after, and I think the only thing it did wrong was advertise itself as more of a family movie. I'm not so sure this is a family movie, but I think this is a good movie.
Now let me counteract what I said with this. I think had you removed most of the jokes in this movie, I would be way on board. The core story of this movie is fantastic. It tugs at your heartstrings. It has a lot to say about what it's like to not only to be a parent, but like to be a foster parent, what it's like to be those kids going through those struggles. It really shows the sides of the coin that you really don't think about. When this movie lands some emotional things, it lands it hard. It lands it strong. I was a huge, if I could recut this movie, I would, and I would love every moment of it. The problem with this movie is it refuses to let you feel an emotion, because it's like written by like a Ed Hardy t-shirt guy, right? Anytime you start to feel an actual emotion, we have to undercut it with some stupid joke that has no business being in the movie at all. We have to undercut it all the time. There are only 2 times in this movie where you feel some real, genuine emotion, and they just let it play out, and they just let it do its thing. It is one is the day right before the kids are leaving to go with their mothers, their last day with their foster parents, and they have this scene of like going to bed and crying about the fact that this family is breaking up. They have a dinner where there's a little bit of anger and frustration and worry about what's going to happen when I go with my mom. She doesn't know how to make my noodles the way that you like to. What am I going to do? And they let that emotion play out, and it's really strong. The other one that they let it play out is when the son Juan gets hurt with a nail gun. He gets shot in the foot with a nail gun, and they have to take him to the hospital. And they finally allow Lizzie, the oldest daughter, to be a kid and not be a parent, right? And they take care of Juan. They take away Lita, the little kid, away from Lizzie and let her grieve and go see her brother and not have to be a parent. And they really let that moment land. And there's a moment where the caseworker, played by Octavia Spencer, comes in and she's like, all right, tell me what happened. And they're worried that they're going to take the kids away. And Lizzie steps in and goes, no, it was my fault. It was all me. And Mark Wahlberg's character, Pete, goes, no, this was on us. I should have been watching. And they let that emotion play out, and you get to see, oh my God, Lizzie actually wants to give them a chance. Lizzie cares about the fact that she's with these people. They let those play out. Those are the only 2 moments where the core story really, really hits home. Let me tell you a moment where they threw it away, right? When they had a sweet moment and threw it away. Ellie, the foster mom, has been trying to get these kids to accept her as mom. Right, there's a beautiful scene in the trailer, which is perfect, by the way, the perfect blend of comedy, where the little girl Lita goes up to Pete, Mark Wahlberg, and goes, "Oh, my little doll is broken." And he's like, "Oh, I'll put it back together." And she's like, "Thank you, Daddy." And he's like, "I got a dad." And and Ellie's just like, "I can't believe you got that. Oh, I really want that." And then she goes after her. "Do you need help?" "Nope." That's a cute moment. That actually happens as parents, right? One kid comes up to you, does something incredibly sweet. The other one's a little jealous, tries to get the same thing, doesn't happen. Hilarious. So she's been pining, waiting for one of these kids to accept her as mom. And Juan is having a terrible dream. He's having like a nightmare, a little night terror. He's crying, scared in the bed. And she comes up to him. "Hey, you're safe. Everything's fine. You're at home." And he goes, "Thanks, Mommy." And she's like, "Oh my God, I got a mommy." And then immediately goes, Juan, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say? And the kid's obviously asleep. He's like, "What?" And then starts shaking him. "Juan, what? Juan, what did you say? Juan?" And starts shaking him. And then starts shaking him some more. And shaking him some more. "Juan, what did you say? Say it again. And then gives up. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? That is so dumb. Why can't you just let that moment happen? Do you know what she should have done? She should have walked back into the room, right, after she gets it and realizes that it's not going to happen again. "What did you say?" "Kid's asleep." Fine. She goes in the room and goes, "Hey, Pete, guess what? I got a mommy." And gloat to Pete, because that's what parents do. Every time they have an emotional scene, they just completely undercut it with stupid comedy that they don't need. And it's not funny. It's not funny. I really wanted it to be good because I was starting to buy into this movie. But every time I felt something emotional was happening, that Ed Hardy teacher guy goes, I'm not allowed to feel emotions. Give me a dick joke. Not a dick joke. Give me a pratfall. Give me someone getting hit in the face with a baseball. Give me some joke. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to feel my emotions. Anyway, that's my rant. Now prove me wrong, Brian. Give me the other side of the coin where I missed this great emotional connection that this movie had the entire time.
I can't prove you wrong because I think you went in there expecting something that you were never going to get.
No, I was expecting Ted with foster parents. I was expecting hilarious jokes. The movie advertised itself as a comedy. I was expecting a comedy. I didn't get comedy. The jokes weren't funny. Are you telling me when she's shaking Juan, you thought that was funny?
I'm not going to defend that scene, but I think there was plenty of moments that were kind of funny and that made me chuckle and made me laugh. The kid Juan is hilarious. That scene in the store where the kids are freaking out and she's trying to put the doll back and Juan's under the cart screaming, don't hit me. And they're like, we've never touched him. Like that's a funny scene.
Certainly got a chuckle out of that. I chuckled, but then
there's plenty of scenes like that. I think you're expecting to have this perfect blend of funny and emotional connected, and you were never going to get that from this movie. This movie is not, it knows what it is. It knows it's not supposed to make you laugh hysterically. It's not going to be Ted. It's meant to give you some chuckles. It's meant to pull at your heartstrings a little bit. And it's meant to have the happy ending. And that's it. You're never going to get anything from this movie. I'm not saying this movie was amazing, but it's a solid 7 out of 10.
All right. Here's the other thing I had an issue with. I love Tig Notaro. Her brand of humor.
I hate Tig Notaro. Okay, she's the one thing I did not like about
her brand of humor, I'm all about. And I know Josh is a Tig Notaro fan.
Yeah,
as well.
I know. I was waiting to hear what Josh would say when I said I hate Tig Notaro.
Octavia Spencer is not only a fantastic dramatic actress, she's hilarious. She's funny. Now, those two characters are the people that run the adoption agency, from what we can tell, right? They're the social workers.
They run the foster.
They run the foster home and help them transition into being foster parents.
Yeah, they're running support groups and classes and things like that.
Tell me if you got this impression. Tig Notaro was supposed to be the straight man. No pun intended with the fact of Tig Notaro. She was supposed to be the straight man, right? And Octavia Spencer was supposed to be the comedic relief of that, right?
Sure. I mean, I think depending on the scene, they kind of pass it back and forth. Because there are moments where Octavia is the straight person and Tig's the one kind of
But they pass it back and forth in the same scene a lot.
That's okay, though.
Yeah, okay. The support group was another one, right? There's a moment where they're talking about, so Pete and Ellie are talking about, hey, listen, we're actually having a really good time with this. The kids are getting along. They're listening to us. We're starting to gel. And everyone's hysterically laughing. Hysterically. Belly laughs as they're explaining this. And Mark Wahlberg's just I don't understand why everyone's laughing. We're actually doing really well. And everyone's just you'll see. And just over, it ratcheting up to a 10 for this humor. Their intent is correct of, oh, you silly guys. Yes, you're having a good time now. It's a honeymoon period. You'll be fine. But guys, the other shoe's about to fall. But they're ratcheting up that laughter. Even Mark Wahlberg's character's I don't understand why you guys are laughing. And I'm I'm with you, man. Why are they laughing this hard? Why are they having such a strong reaction to the way they're talking? It didn't make sense to me. All the humor just didn't make sense. The really emotional scene at the end, right? So Lizzie is hiding out in someone's yard.
That scene I'll give you. I did not understand what the hell Joan Cusack was doing.
Joan Cusack out of nowhere, by the way, comes up on a porch and it's eavesdropping. Can I listen? What's going on? Can I listen? And then at the end, the family's having a hug when they're realizing that they are going to be together now. This is the new family, right? And we're here. We love everybody. We're here to go through this together. We are now a family. And then Joan Cusack's character can I get in on that hug? Do you guys want to come in for some pie? I made some pie. And Octavia, I love pie, says Octavia Spencer, goes in the house. Again, if I could recut this movie and just move the jokes a beat, just give it a moment to appreciate the wonderful story that's going on underneath all this. I think it's great, the story that they have. But I feel like they did improv scenes or improv takes in between that and just to lighten up the mood, maybe because the script was kind of serious. at times, and they kept some of those moments and those choices in the movie when it should have been really serious. I mean, even the whole story about the fact that Lizzie is being seduced by an older like kid, like I'm sorry, like a guy, like a grown adult is courting like a 15-year-old girl, asking her to send nudes. They like really just blow past that and then try to make weird jokes about the fact that they're getting arrested.
They don't blow past it. They get arrested for assaulting the dude, and then they have to go to court the next day to say we should be able to keep these kids after they assaulted a dude.
But they're showing the janitor, who's like a 24-year-old guy, getting arrested, and they're like, yeah, enjoy prison, you pedophile. And then cut to them, they're in handcuffs. The reveal is supposed to be that they're not just there chastising the unmanned, they're actually getting arrested as well. That was sort of clever, but just like, again, it's undercutting this moment with a joke that would have delivered if you would have given it a few minutes.
But that's not supposed to be like some sort of serious heart-wrenching moment. That's supposed to be funny. That entire storyline is supposed to be, oh, what are they going to do about this? And then they go to the extreme that every parent wishes they could. You're telling me if you were in that situation,
oh yeah, I would beat the shit out of that. Oh hell yeah, 100%.
Every parent, you can't do that, but you want to. So you get to play out that fantasy in that scene.
I will give you that scene. That's all right. And it's a good twist. It's a good twist where they reveal.
The humor is added by the fact that they left the other two kids in the car by themselves.
I had issues with this movie. I didn't hate it like I hated.
I think you were expecting more,
but I really
didn't.
Didn't.
Expecting too much of this movie.
No, I was surprised by, again, I came in expecting Ted with kids. I really came in with the bar going.
But you shouldn't have.
Why? That's what they advertised.
Because that's not. I did not listen. They advertised like life as you know it. With Mark Wahlberg.
Here's the other. The bit they had with the mom, the other foster mom who wanted The Blind Side, the one who made the story.
that was kind of amusing.
The first meeting where they are at the adoption agency or adoption agency. Where are they?
It's the foster home.
The foster home. The first meeting where they're with all the other foster or soon to be foster parents, and they're having like orientation as to like what it's like to be a foster parent, and we're gonna tell you all about this. Where he's talking about rescue dogs and we should call them rescue kids. That was not funny.
That was so awkward. It was funny.
No.
It's supposed to be this awkward moment of I don't know what I'm saying.
Long.
I'll give it to you. It goes on too long.
You had funny, and then you dragged it out. And again, that zombie horse. We're just beating a zombie horse over and over again. Is it still funny? Is it still funny? I'm still talking about rescue kids.
This is coming from the guy who's been saying the same 5 jokes for the entire decade I've known him.
But Brian, I don't do this for millions of dollars. I do this for like $50. Like that. Like I do it for a small set of money that I split amongst 2 other people. If you're doing it for $1 million, you don't get to keep making the same dumb choices over and over again. I want to address one thing, and then we'll get into some facts about this movie or anything else that you want to bring up, because I've been going on for a while.
I brought up everything that I mean. I hate Tig Notaro. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty funny.
I don't know how you hate Tig Notaro. She was fantastic in this movie. So was Margot. Was it
Martindale?
Martindale.
Margot Martindale as the grandmother is fantastic.
She was great. Again, some moments where she undercut, but whatever. I assumed that was movie. I at least enjoyed her performance. I think you're absolutely crazy for not liking Tig Notaro in this movie. I thought she was great. Like, there's we see that kid.
I don't like her in general.
We see that kid who, little, like, she's got a wall built up about her, but she looks like she's been, like, I don't know, abused, like chained to a radiator or something. She's like, that's
what's funny about that scene is them, not Tig Notaro.
No. What's funny about that scene is Tig Notaro being the straight man going, that's my kid. I don't understand. I don't even own a radiator. I don't know. She's not abused. That's my kid. I'm her mom. That's what's funny. It's not their abuse joke. It's the fact that Tig Notaro is not in on the joke and going, that's actually my kid. I don't understand why you're saying that she's abused. She's not abused. She's my kid. That's the humor. Oh my God. Okay. I
just don't like Tig Notaro in general.
So no matter what she would have done, it was no big deal. Here's the thing. You're saying I went into this movie expecting one thing and I got another, and That's where it is. Again, I came into this movie expecting a Mark Wahlberg comedy movie, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out I got a story that actually means something, right? With some actual heart and actual moments of real life parenting, right? Like some actual moments that you get for being a parent, like a kid eating potato chips, and then the moment where you say no and you try something different, and then suddenly literally everything's on fire. True shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy to get that. I wanted to. They were ready to take the audience to say, we're going to give you something real. I was just upset that every single time I got a dumb joke where I shouldn't gotten it. I would have enjoyed it so much more if you put jokes in there where it was funny. Like the kid getting hit in the face with the baseball and the
No, that was
and that
was funny.
It was,
and the basketball.
Hilarious.
Twice.
And like when he gets stuck on a fence and he's like, it's not my fault. Like when they do the clips of like Juan being clumsy and just kind of being awkward.
That was good.
Hilarious, because as a 13-year-old kid, as a 13-year-old boy, you are awkward, you're weird, you get hurt a lot. Like you're just a dumb kid who's growing and you're just trying to hold it all together. They did a good job with that. That was funny.
Yeah.
But it's all these other little moments that aren't funny, and that's what ultimately hurt it. So
I think you need to rewatch it and through a different lens.
I will not
really
be. I will not be rewatching this movie. So let me give you some statistics. Let me give you some numbers.
The stats
about this movie. So estimated budget for this movie is $48 million.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
Pretty standard budget for
opening weekend. 14.5 million. Gross total right now, as of time of recording in the U.S., $38 million. So pretty good considering.
It'll make its money back.
Yeah, considering that it opened on November 18th. Today is the 30th. Pretty good return. It will make its money back. I don't expect to be. There's no need for a sequel or anything for this. So whatever it is. This movie was inspired by a true story. It's based off a real family. So you can also learn a little bit about that. And I like at the end of the movie, they recommended that you, if you're interested in adoption, it gave you a couple of agencies to call. Thought it was really good. Taglines, right? What do you think this movie's tagline is?
I don't know.
Just add chaos, laughter, awkwardness, mistakes, and love. I feel loved. Now, I obviously did not like the movie. Brian obviously liked the movie. First time, you liked it. I think like is a fine emotion.
Like is a fine emotion.
So let's look for some second opinions. So Brian will be doing the negative reviews, and I will be doing the positive
I'll do the
reviews.
opposite of my opinion, even though I don't agree with them.
Before we give our second opinions, I think it's important to give some feedback that the audiences have given it. So on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, on the tomato meter as of right now, critics give it an 81, audience give it an 84. Over on Metacritic, now over on Mediacritic, it's a different story. This actually has a 57 out of 100. User score at a 6.8 out of 10. A critic score of 57 out of 100. So it's got some positive reviews, not a ton of negatives.
This guy on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 2 stars. The movie was very predictable, as they do not make movies that do not have happy endings. I don't know what that means.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
The jokes were weak at best, and the movie dragged on. This should have been released on Netflix or Hulu directly, as it will have no legs in the theater.
No, I disagree with that.
I disagree with it as well.
I think it is movie. I think it's fine to be. I think this is a good movie enough to go into theaters, not be released on a streaming service. That's absolutely wrong. Let me read you a positive review that I found. This is such a strong movie. I will not say a great movie because it has its flaws, but possibly the greatest adoption movie ever. Which, by the way, how many adoption movies are there? Like Annie and what else?
I'm sure there's a couple more if
there's
you really
a few.
thought about it.
It feels real. The emotions, the highs and the lows. Its message is strong and truly makes you think about your life. I love all the main cast. It's just solid opinion of this movie.
Yeah. I have one that says it's the dumbest movie on the planet. They spell dumbest DOMBEST. There you go. This one says, if you're going to tackle serious subject matter, maybe don't run it through tacky fluff that amounts to a fleeting sugar high. Sure, this movie would get all the right oohs and ahs, sighs and sobs. It certainly won over the freebie test audience at my screening. Good God, but it won't linger. I feel like CJ. Did you write a review on?
I did not. I want to end with one more positive review on this movie. Successfully walking the line between sharp comedy and thoughtful dramedy, Instant Family delivers a warming of the heart, generating plenty of belly laughs. When it's funny, as it often is, it's damn funny. One of the superior comedies of the year. It's not a classic, but it's rich, smart, and emotionally satisfying, and an accomplished step forward for director Sean Anders. From what I can see, again, looking at Metacritic, for me, it's
outnumbered.
It's mixed.
Everything that I'm seeing makes you outnumbered.
On Metacritic, it's 57, right? On yellow, right? So it's a middle of the road movie. Users are given a 6.8 out of 10, which makes it a positive movie. Rotten Tomatoes, again, we've talked about that. 81 on the tomato meter, 84 on the audience score.
Right. And
so one
IMDb,
service is saying
out of 75 reviews, only 4 of them were negative.
Right, but you're looking at but even IMDb has the meta score on their homepage for this movie.
Right, but the reviews are through IMDb; they're not through Meta.
Right, so on IMDb, it's got a 7.6 out of 10. That's a fair place.
Right around where I would score this movie.
I would take it just a little lower, but I'm not. Listen, I want to be really honest. Again, I don't think this movie is bad. This isn't Peppermint, right? This is not a bad movie.
You really hate on Peppermint.
Peppermint was dog shit. I listen. I would give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. I would give it a 6. I would still have left had we done it. I don't think it was worth the whole ride. But like, it's not. I won't tell people not to see it. I think it just really missed a mark. This should have been a 9 or a 10, but it's not. It's a 6. That's the thing. I'm mad about the potential.
Oh, okay. I think it's a solid 7.5. That's. I enjoyed it. I had a couple laughs. I don't cry at movies, but I'm sure if I were a better person, I would have. I thought the acting was well done. I thought the story was very well executed. Showed a different side of these like adoption, movies, or these. Hey, this couple get thrown into this situation involving kids. It's a completely different take on that kind of stuff. I enjoyed it. It was different.
So Josh said pretty good, emotional for sure, and then Margot Martindale was great. I mean, he gave us a really short. He's sick. I give him back.
Right.
But he says pretty good.
I don't
know how to read that. Pretty good or pretty good. I don't know how to read that.
I don't know if our parental status had anything to do with it.
I'm just wondering if maybe that made me more critical of the movie, knowing that I have kids versus you who you don't have kids.
I don't think it would have made you more critical, because wouldn't you identify more with some of the things that were going on? Even though you've never fostered kids, some of the parenting things that they're going through, you've done.
Yeah, but then I also
identify with it more.
But I also read when it's bullshit. Like when it's bullshit, it sticks out to me real hard. That would never fucking happen. Like, oh, that would never happen. Oh, that's not funny. Or like I talked about, like, when she got the mommy, like she should have been gloating to Mark Wahlberg, just like when Mark Wahlberg gloated to her. Like that's how relationships work. It's reciprocal.
Maybe.
Listen,
I don't know.
I think very much like the characters in this movie. I think the attitude that you need to go into this movie to really enjoy it is just like they do with flipping houses. They see past the rough parts. They see past the things that are broken and don't work, and they see the end potential of the house.
I see what you did.
If you go into the movie expecting that, you're going to be very happy. I would recommend you see this movie, but you need to go in with the right expectations. I thought I went in with the right ones. I feel a little let down, but again, I enjoyed it. Well, listeners, listen,
maybe, I don't know.
Listen, thank you so much again for your support. Really mean it. Can't wait to see what you guys make us see next time. Please do us a favor. Tell people how great it is to be a patron of That Kind of Nerd on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are. Tell people to go ahead and support this show. The more support we get, the more fun stuff we get to do. But again, thank you so much for making all of this possible, and we will see you when we review the next movie.